We been in the gym. Yeah, we been in the gym. Focused on the win. What you say, boy? Come again. Hey, please come again. I like we ain't poppin'. Hey, who gon' stop us now?
What's going on?
Who gon' stop us now?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Debate Fuel. Featuring, I'm your mediator for this good old heated segment of Debate Fun. I got to get in between these two gentlemen because it's always going to get nice and hectic in a good way, a civilized way. But that's how we do it here on Debate Fuel. So, to my left, in the left-hand corner, we got my boy, the Celtic pride wearing, eagle flying, anti-cowboy loving, Derrick Myers. What's happening, sir? How you doing?
What's good with you, bro? How you doing, man?
Man, good. Glad to have another debate on the rocks, man.
Oh,
you
yeah.
already know how it goes. Let's cook this thing up.
Yes, sir.
And over here into my right corner, oh, there we go. Here we go. The almighty saint, the LSU pride right there. And we can't forget the Zion loving, Pelican flying. Also, LeBron Los Angeles Laker loving.
Nah, he can't be both now. Can't be both.
My boy, full throttle, Rick, sincere, talk to the people, sir.
What's good? What's poppin', man? How y'all doing? Yo, I'm blessed to be in the building. Blessed to be getting ready to hop into these debates today, man. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. We got some real juicy topics today. Gonna cover a couple of things out of the NBA that's been talking in the headlines this week. We're gonna cover a headline that's really important from the NFL as well, on top of a nice NFL top 10 tight end debate list. So without further ado, fellas, if you're ready, let's go ahead and just kick this thing off with the NBA. And let's talk about a certain statement that Mr. Kyrie Irving made. And since he's made this statement, it seems that it's caused a lot of stir and debate. So Kyrie Irving has made his statement disagreeing basically with a lot of what's going on with the start of the NBA season and feeling like players should not play, that it shouldn't go on, it shouldn't resume. And a lot of people, a lot of players have gone back and forth. We've heard statements from Charles Barkley. We've heard statements from Dwight Howard. We've heard statements from LeBron and so many more out there who have really just basically took a side to where now it seems like the NBA is like at a divide of, as the season starts, should we play? Should we sit out? Some players feel like they're making money for the white NBA owners out there and feel like, hey, the cause of the Black Lives Matter movement right now is going to be distracted if we play NBA right now. And so a lot of people, such as Charles Barkley, is giving an old school perspective and feeling like, no, this is definitely something you don't do. You play and go ahead and do that because it's going to be catastrophic if you don't. So, fellas, let's get into the juiciness of this. And since Kyrie seems to be the front runner of what's caused all of these different statements to come out lately, what are y'all thoughts and opinions on Kyrie's particular statement right now and what's going on in the NBA?
I think that I'm not sure. I may have said this last episode, but I think that this would have been received differently if this was from someone else and not Kyrie. If even let's just say like Carmelo just came out and said this would have been received differently. This is legit because it's Kyrie. If he didn't come out and talk about the flat earth and all this other stuff, like this would have been probably received a little bit better. Maybe even if it was just KD that said this, I think people would have received this differently. But I don't think he's wrong, but it's interesting that he's coming out saying this, knowing that he's not going to be able to play. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I think is kind of shocking, because it doesn't add up for him to say it. Because would he feel differently if he were healthy? That's the question. I don't think he's wrong though. I agree with Kyrie, but I don't agree that he's saying this after supporting it a few weeks ago. So he doesn't have good timing. He has horrible timing with things. His statements always come at the wrong time. They never make sense.
So I'll say it's kind of weird. I look at there's a few different factors here, right? So you're right. The fact that it's Kyrie makes it questionable.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, only because Kyrie hasn't always been known for clear and lucid thoughts, right? Like he's not the go-to guy for I don't know if y'all remember when Kyrie had a deal or had dealings with LeBron, and he went on all those shows, and he seems like he was always hiding a point. You know what I mean? Like he had a point, but he was hiding it. Almost like, when he's dribbling, like it was really hard to keep up with him. You know what I mean? Like,
are you saying when he first got traded to Boston?
Yeah, when he was on those shows and he was popping up trying to articulate what was the real reason behind it. What was the real reason of why it was actually happening. And I know he knew, but I also knew he was playing almost gymnastics. He wanted to keep guys away from, he didn't want y'all to really know the visceral stuff that was behind it all, right? In this particular case, I am inclined to walk with Kyrie, just in overall, even if the point isn't truly clear. Like Perk said, Perk came out with something, but we'll talk about that later. But I didn't always know what's the end goal, right? Some people said this. It was like, how are we going to stop 400 years of oppression, in the next 4 months? And I don't know. But Kyrie feels like there's an opening here. There's a window here. And if there's a window, let's take advantage of the window. The only problem is, Kyrie, what's the actual goal?
Yeah.
Like, what's the end goal? What do we want? Do we want more awareness? I mean, they're aware. They're still doing it though, right? So what do we want, right? Like, what's the end goal for us? And if there is an end goal, make that end goal clear, because you can't play. You can't dribble with us right now. You got to let us know. You got to pass it to us. Let us know exactly what's going on with the situation. You feel me? Let us know what the end goal is, so we can then get behind you. The Bible even talks about making the vision plain and clear, so the people can walk with you and get behind you. So make the vision plain. And if you make the vision plain, we can stand behind you. Why is he standing up? I get it. Right? No owners are speaking out. The only owner who has spoken out is Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban has almost a similar problem to Kyrie. But he does. But Mark is coming out and he's standing with the people, marching with the people. He said white people have to change. That's a Mark Cuban quote, right? White people have to change. And I love the quote. Thank you, Mark.
Good.
And he's been doing a lot, right? He's been he's kind of been standing in solidarity, right? You can see him with that Dallas community. He's been standing in solidarity with them. But Mark may be the only one. Where are the other owners right now? Where are they? And if they're doing something, let us know. But I don't know if they're doing something behind the scenes, right? Because that's rarely a thing when PR people exist, right?
Well, we know James Dolan isn't.
So what's up? What's going on? And y'all, why are y'all not speaking out? Are y'all not speaking? Like, okay, the NFL owners or the NFL commissioner has come out and said some stuff, right? Under pressure. He felt pressure to come out and say something.
I still don't believe him, to be honest.
but something got said, right? And now we got President Trump talking about Kaepernick coming back into the league, right? I mean, he did a great political move in going about that, though. He's like, well, if he deserves it, then yeah. But if he doesn't deserve it, it seems unfair. But at the same time, you got okay. We know this. We know LeBron wants to play, regardless of what Kyrie want to do. We know LeBron wants to play, right?
Yeah.
And we know that if LeBron wants to play, then Patrick Beverley wants to play, I guess. These are things we know, right?
Things we know.
So Patrick Beverley is not he's just not with LeBron coming back and winning another championship. And it's his mindset.
He's not winning another championship.
It's his mindset. We'll talk about that later. But it's his mindset. It's his mindset. It's his mindset to say whatever the situation is, I'm gonna stop LeBron from getting the title. Like that's what he's about.
He's about defense.
Yeah, he's about defense.
Come on, man.
He was like, if Brown playing, we playing, because he ain't gonna get it on my watch.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what's like. There's
is that how you took it?
That's exactly how I took it, and that's how it is.
See, I didn't take it like that. I took it as if he was just saying, guys, if LeBron wants to play, we're gonna play. Like. Look, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a ton of sense.
That's what the media took it a different way. The media took it like he was. I think Stephen A. said, no, not Stephen A. Shannon came out and said that he was trying to vilify LeBron, right? Mm-hmm. As if LeBron was almost like selling out or something. But I don't think that was the case. I think he was basically saying, hey, look, if LeBron playing, we playing, because I'm not on my watch, not while we're here where the LA Lakers win a title. The LA Clippers will be here to put a pause on whatever your overall plans are. That's basically what I got from Patrick Beverley in that situation. So as I look at him, is there a reason not to play? Yeah, the spotlight is heavily on us right now. The spotlight is heavily on the situation. There is a reason not to play. There is a reason not to come out and not to come out and distract people from the actual situation. But if we're not going to play, bro, make it plain. Make it plain. What do we want and why are we not playing?
So the overall idea of Kyrie's argument, I agree with in terms of this is not the time to do it because optics make it look bad for black players to be playing during a moment where they should be working, helping to get the cause out there and stuff like that. I agree with that overall point, but in terms of the actual season, whether it should start or not.
But Derrick, they are working.
No, there are people that are working. I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying
this is their job.
But see the issue comes. The thing about it is that it turns into another issue in terms of the season itself. Like, if you're coming back right now, which they're still not even in full agreement on, if you're coming back and you're starting the season so fast, it's possible someone can get injured. That's why you see players taking out insurance on their bodies, making sure that, I know Tatum is one. I think Kuzma, which I honestly don't even know why he's taking insurance out. But
he's a baller, and he got
no, he's not. He ain't a baller.
Yes, he is a baller.
Nah.
He's just a young baller who's taking some time to develop.
A lot of time.
Or redevelop, because honestly, when Kuzma was there, like in that first environment, it was a good environment for him, right? But now in this new environment with all these veterans around and no more young people, he has to find his groove. And it's hard. He had to change his hair and change it back and try to find what works for him.
So is he a new age Dennis Rodman? Is that what you're saying?
What's
going on?
I'm not giving him that. I'm not, because Dennis Rodman can actually play.
He was trying to find his groove. He's trying to find his groove amongst his new environment because his role changed. Before he was like this young star, you just pass the ball to Kuz, do what he do, right? Now it's like, oh, that's AD here. Well, I'm not gonna get the ball right now.
I mean, technically, he should be the 3, right? Like of the big 3, he should be the 3.
He would generally be that, bro. But the problem is with him right now is that it takes time, bro. It takes time, right?
Just like it's taking time for Ben Simmons to get a shot, right?
Ooh. That'll never happen. That's different.
And that's exactly what I'm saying with Kuz.
No,
it'll never happen.
No, that's different. It's different.
But
wait till Kuz come back. I'll show you.
It's too soon. It's too soon. It's for the season to start at this point. It's just too fast. So I can see where Kyrie is fighting against that, you know, in terms of player health. But he's not talking about that. He's just talking about the distraction of the cause that we're fighting for right now. So I don't know. I think that I agree that it might not be the perfect time, but I think it's not the perfect time for the season to restart for a number of reasons, not just this. And I think that they're going to have to come to an agreement. I still, we're in the middle of June, and there's still not, you know, players are still not on board. I don't see how you start it anyway. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see how it works. So I don't know, man. I think Kyrie's got a point, but it should have been someone else that said it. He should have spoke to someone else, you know, to you know, come out with him. Like, even if it was just KD that came out with him on this, I think it would have been less of a hit on him. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Over under 5 NBA players testing positive for coronavirus when testing starts next week.
I'm gonna take the over.
You gonna take the over?
I'm gonna take the over.
I think I may take
even
the over there.
Even if it's barely, but I'm gonna take the over.
I think I might rock with you. We're looking at like even Kyle Kuzma. He has a brand new girlfriend, by the way, so that's gonna make him a better player. So he's
who's the girlfriend? Because you know if it's a Kardashian, that is done.
It's not a Kardashian. She looks like a nice girl, Winnie Harlow. So you know, check her out. But when I say check her out, I'm not encouraging guys to go.
Not in the DMs, people.
No,
not in the DMs.
Definitely not. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, go figure out who he's around. Anyway, so Kyle Kuzma, he's just leaving a album party, right? And yeah, he had on the mask. I don't know if he's wearing it right though. Listen, guys, when you wear the mask, cover your nose. Like, that's one of the things that we trying to do here.
Hold on. He just covered his mouth?
Basically, that's what it looks like. It looks like he's covering his mouth. Anyway, I'm not gonna. You know how when he talks to LeBron, he kind of goes like this.
Yeah, he thinks it's the same thing. Yeah.
So all right, but anyway, so yeah, I'm giving you the over there too. I believe that. At the end of the day, bro, I want them to play. Everybody wants. We all want them to play.
Yeah,
but
we all want to see it.
But I'm willing to concede them playing if Kyrie and his conglomerate make the vision plain. If you tell us, okay, look, we're not going to play until we get such and such, then I'm like, all right, bet. We here waiting, not playing, waiting to get such and such. If such and such is to defund a particular police system, right? Like a particular police station. So if we're, you know, defunding the cops in Minnesota, which is already happening, right? All right, cool. If that's the situation, we're fighting to do that in New York or every place, and we're fighting to defund every police unit that was involved in one of these situations, right? If that's what we're waiting for, bet. Let's go, Kyrie. No play until we get that. You feel me? If we're waiting until all the NBA owners come out in solidarity and say, hey, Black Lives Matter, and we will put money and our efforts behind this particular movement, right? Not the full BLM movement, but just the part that we care about, which is Black people living. So, because those are two different things. So, but at the same time, right? If they're down with doing that, then cool. If we're waiting for all the NBA owners to speak out, bet. Let's wait, Kyrie. But if we just hold it off and just kind of working in our own neighborhoods and stuff like that, then I'm back on the side of Stephen A, which says that we're losing the platform.
See, here's the thing. I think, and this is where I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith anymore, but I heard him. I heard a little bit of what he had to say about this, and I think it's a bit dismissive. That about the players not utilizing the platform, like they don't have a platform without the NBA. That's how it came across to me, and I don't agree with that. I think these players are bigger than the league. This is, you don't see that in a lot of other leagues, but in the NBA, the players are the focus. So because of that, they are bigger than the league in terms of their platform. And I think my frustration with Kyrie is that he is the vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. So if that's the case, you've got to be able to put together a very clear and concise plan for how this goes, because he's also talking about players coming out with their own league. And while I don't have a problem with seeing that, you've got to have a plan with that. You can't just say we stop this NBA season and hey, let's start our own league. It doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work like that. It was hilarious that Game of Zones foretold that with this final season. That was hilarious. But I don't see how he can come out and talk about this without a clear vision for it. So I agree with you on that one, bro. It needs to be clear, but I think where Stephen A. Smith is a bit dismissive is to make it sound as if they don't have the big platform without the NBA, which in terms of them getting their contracts, that okay, I'm fine with you saying that, but if let's say KD wanted to just start something, you know, because he has the money to start it, he's bigger than the NBA in terms of that, because of his stature within, or his status within the league. I'm pretty sure if he wanted to go start something like that, players would follow. If let's say LeBron wanted to start something like that, players would follow. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit dismissive to say that they can't do it without the NBA. So yeah, I agree. It has to be clear.
Let me interject real quick and ask a counter question to that, for just to clarify on what your statement is to go against, you know, Stephen A. Smith's, right? So haven't heard much about the status of this particular league right now, but I'm sure as the NBA works something out, they're probably working something out with this. But let's take the big three, for example. Cube, as we know, the creator, the owner, made this thing happen, right? So if the top name NBA players, just strictly top names, your James Hardens, your Kevin Durant's, your LeBron James's, vice versa, every top player from every team decided, okay, you know what? We're going to go over here because we know we can voice our opinions that much more. And Ice Cube obviously is Black and understands what we understand. So we're going to take this over here and say bump the NBA. The NBA is in trouble and not the players.
Yeah, but they're in violation of contract if they do that.
That's what I'm saying. We talking reckless as if
Yeah.
there's no contracts in place.
Yeah.
They got contracts and honestly, I don't know if like LeBron gonna be straight, but I don't know if everybody finances are up to par to where they could just, say, you know what, forget those $1 million contracts, and because all of them, they haven't gotten all their money from their contracts, right?
I was about to say, that's another thing. Like pretty much everyone that's a Rich Paul client, they've already received their money for the season. It was at the beginning of the season. Everyone else has not been paid. So, I don't see how that really works in anyone's favor.
So, I mean, for them, yeah, you can leave and you can go and Cube, but does Cube want the burden of having to pay all those guys real money?
Not that money.
Not half. Now,
Not that
look,
money.
I'm gonna say this, especially in a climate where no matter what Cube wants to do, I'm sure he'll open up his arms to all those guys want to join us, and I'm sure he'll try to find the money. The only problem is that you're gonna have to have fans in the stands, right? Like you're gonna have to get that money, and that ain't coming right now. Like we're not in that climate to where you just let everybody in the gym. You feel what I'm saying? And so that's not the situation right now. Well, I mean, if that was a thing going forward and this, coronavirus thing was completely washed and we were done with it and everybody was coming back, then yeah, by all means, that could be something that could support itself. But for right now, it'll be a huge financial risk for him to do something like that. Let me say this also. Hey, bro, Kyrie is the vice president, but dog it, there's 6 vice presidents of that basketball association, right?
Yeah,
and he's not even, and he's not standing in solidarity yet with and we'll get to this later. I'll hide that point, right? But he's not standing in solidarity yet with the whole players association. Does that make sense? And that's and that's kind of what's, and it's not like, and maybe it's not for lack of effort. Maybe it's just for lack of agreement, right? Because maybe everybody doesn't fully agree with him. And I hold it. I'll wait.
I'm pretty sure they don't agree with him.
But so that's the thing. So as we look at it, man, overall, what I'm looking for at the end of the day is for us to be able to see some basketball, right? I want to see it, but I don't see it in the Big 3 league, right? But I do see maybe 1 or 2 defecting. You know what I mean? Like maybe 1 or 2 defect, but I don't know if Cube want that. I mean, I know he wants it, but I don't know.
I think one of the players going to Big 3 in their prime would be interesting in terms of a free agent doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't see a free agent doing that. Would you? If you had the opportunity to make, let's say, anywhere between 25 to 35 million a year in the NBA versus, I don't even know what the pay scale is for the Big 3 yet. But for whatever they offer per year, and they have 3-month seasons or something like that. What are you actually doing? I understand it would be great, but see, this is not a thing that I think players have to do. I think this is the onus on Black billionaires to do. So the Diddy's, I think he's a billionaire, right?
I don't know if Diddy's a billionaire.
No, close to it. He's probably close to it. But Dre's a billionaire. Jay-Z. I think Oprah is close to it, if I'm not mistaken. But for those big names like that, Tyler Perry's, like those guys, if they came together and started a league, it would make more sense for them to do that than for the players to go and start their own league. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see it, but it has to be done the right way because there's a lot of money that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm pretty sure Cube can. What Cube has done is great.
Most definitely.
I think it's great because
the NBA took from him too.
It extends the life of a basketball player's career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if a player is not done playing yet and they still want to get down, there's a spot for you. right? And if there's somebody who's kind of on the come up and they, want to work their way into the national spotlight, then there's a place for them too. So it works as like a extension league and a developmental league. Love it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, man, I am I don't know. I just don't know if he want those troubles, bro. That's like it's a lot.
Yes, it is.
It is, So with that in mind, then, fellas, let's transition now that we've kind of put some thoughts and ideals, and we understand that with what Kyrie had to say, at the end of the day, it falls down to this: have a vision behind what you're saying, so that way we can know for sure which side to really justify with. But therefore, let's go ahead and go and transition into this subject with two individuals who have been going at it with each other for quite some time, but because of now this recent situation, it has caused other tension. And again, all these opinions coming from other players, but these two in particular kind of seem to have an online beef going on right about now and what's going on. But fellas, let's talk a little bit about, Mr. Kevin Durant and Mr. Kendrick Perkins and what's been going on lately that way. So as Kyrie made his statement, Kendrick Perkins made his statement and said, Kyrie Irving, right now, you are the distraction. You are the distractor. It's crazy because you come out and you do something simply without talking to President Chris Paul or consulting with Michael Roberts. Let's sit it out without a plan. It makes zero sense. And I totally disagree. And as a result, Mr. Durant decides to come into the picture, call Mr. Perkins a sellout, post a video of him shooting an air ball, just doing typical, petty type moves that most NBA players are doing. They're throwing shots at each other online and whatnot. We know how that thing goes.
KD being KD.
KD being KD.
That's a pure KD move.
A pure KD move, right? So let's get into a little bit of this meat. I mean, also we saw where Kendrick Perkins was on First Take recently and made his emotional statements. As we could see, he was affected by the whole sellout, situation and label, and had a lot to say, heartfelt, man to man via screen to Mr. Durant. So, fellas, what are your thoughts on what's been going on in this little war between KD and Kendrick Perkins?
Man, honestly, it's tough, man. It's really tough because there's kind of truth on. I want to say there's truth on both sides, but I can't really, right? I don't like the way. I don't necessarily like or endorse the way Kendrick Perkins came out at Kyrie.
Right.
I thought that him calling him a distraction and a distractor, right, was a bit much, right? He basically said that, hey, look, there's a big deal going on right now, and what you're doing is distracting us, like it's taking away from what's real. And then he calls him out for not speaking to the president, right, about the situation. So the president is Chris Paul, even though there's 6 VPs. Well, it's actually 7. There's one who's like the first vice president, which is Andre Iguodala, right? And so he's saying, look, you haven't spoken to Chris, you just coming out saying stuff. And he has a problem or issue with him going about doing it that way, right? He calls him out on not having a plan and all that stuff. But at the same time, Kyrie's he's a relatively young guy, right? And so we're looking at a relatively young Kyrie, but a definitely older and more veteran and more schooled Kendrick Perkins. There could have been more grace given in the way he came out at Kyrie, right? Like he could have did that behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure there's ways to get to if you can get to KD, then you can get to Kyrie. So I'm pretty sure he could talk to Kyrie and kind of hold that as a backdoor situation. But I mean, he was on TV, so I mean, I just think it's weird for him to come out at Kyrie in that way. That's harsh. I think it was harsh the way he came at Kyrie. Now, you got to look at this. If he's harshly coming out at Kyrie, what's KD supposed to do, right? Like, KD could have stayed quiet about it and let it ride, but he was like, look, I got to defend, my guy. So he comes out and defends his guy, right? Now, the way he did it was that's a bit questionable, right? Because he's basically it's almost that Uncle Tom thing.
Yeah.
And for the people who are listening, you're not black of skin, maybe you need to know this is a very serious allegation in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So him calling him basically, you selling out for the cause, you selling out. What are you doing? That's a harsh response. But hey, look, your first thing was harsh. So Kendrick came at Kyrie in a harsh manner. KD, almost feeling like a big brother that steps up and comes at him back in a harsh manner. It's wrong on both sides, right? It's wrong on both sides because what did Kendrick say? Kendrick's like, hey, you don't know what I'm going through at my house. You don't know, that there was a little boy hung right really close to my home, and I got to drive my son to school now, right? You don't know that we fear for our existence even in our own community. Talking about him and his family based on what's happening in their community. He was like, he's been out on the front lines of this thing, so don't call me a sellout. At the same time, Kyrie could be, man, I'm actually trying to make a difference. Nobody else was stepping up or saying anything, and then we're just going to go play. But honestly, there's a whole different side of this, and there's a place we're not really taking advantage of. We could not play and actually make a really big point, right? So like, it's I don't know, it's kind of wrong on both sides, right? But I mean, Petty of the Year award goes to KD because that video of him missing that shot, like, I think honestly more so than anything, I think that got the Kendrick, man.
I all of this stuff honestly could have been private conversations. I honestly don't understand why it needed to be public in the first place. Actually, hold on, I do. The whole KD Kendrick thing started a few months ago, and it was kind of like a playful tit for tat at first, and then all of a sudden they just went at it. So I can see how that part of it was public, but I don't know how we get from disagreeing with Kendrick to basically calling him a coon. I don't get that. I honestly don't understand that. And you can defend Kyrie. That's your teammate. That's your brother. I get that. But you go that far to defend him. Those are fighting words. Those are fighting words. You know what I'm saying? So if you're calling someone that, you better make sure that you have legit reason to say it. I don't think he has a legit reason to say that. I've disagreed with Kendrick on some of the stuff that he said, especially over the last few months, but I don't see coonery when I look at Kendrick. That's taking it to another level.
He wasn't the only one though, bro. Like, he wasn't the only one. He said, so the other guy, Wilson Chandler, right?
Yeah.
Wilson Chandler says ex-players turning into suckers right before your eyes on television.
Well, suckers and coons are different, bro. I get it.
Divide and conquer tactics at an all-time high.
Kendrick's tone has changed over the last few months. I will say that. It has changed. But the accusation does not match what I've seen. I think he's playing a little media role. But I think that you still, when you call someone brother, you don't go that far. That's a turn that you just cannot. You can't just reverse that. You know what I'm saying? I know Kendrick said he still has love for him, but you can't. I wouldn't think you would be able to have the same type of relationship when you go that far. I think the whole shots in terms of like how many points Kendrick scored or in the finals or whatever, that's one thing. But when you go to coon, bro, like that's too far.
That is far.
That's
that is
far.
That
I
is
mean,
far.
I don't see how he's a sellout in that regard. You know what I'm saying? In terms, if you want to say, if you want to say his tone has changed from between when he was a player to now being retired and in media, that's cool because it has. But come on, man, the degree he just went up, like he just took that far out. KD, he can defend Kyrie in this situation and still be respectful and cool with Kendrick. It doesn't have to go that far out.
It went pretty far, but it could have went further. Kendrick Perkins said, "Excuse my last tweet, but I really took it light on Kyrie today because I really could expose the cupcake BS that he's really doing behind those phone conversations." But carry on.
Wow.
Hey man, Kendrick don't play fair. That's all I know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like that's why I understand. Maybe I understand KD because KD more than anybody should know Kendrick Perkins, right? Like according to
so
Kendrick
that's what
Perkins,
I'm saying. You don't say that.
but that's the thing. Maybe you do because maybe you know where this is about to go. You feel what I'm saying? Like maybe you know, hey, look, Kendrick don't play fair, like you said, right? Maybe KD knows, hey, look, I'm about to step into battle with Kendrick Perkins. I can't play fair. Because if I play fair with Kendrick, then it's gonna get unfair in a second.
It's cool, but okay, so it's cool to kind of like not hold your punches, but that's almost like a stab, man. That's just outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Like the just the elevation he went with that, it just took it out. I don't get that one. I really don't. I don't see that. You can, like I said, you can still defend Kyrie and be cool and respectful toward Kendrick if that's your brother. You know, and I don't see how he is after this. My wife ain't making you no oxtail and mac and cheese after that. No.
baby, put that oxtail down. Baby, no.
Baby, no. That ain't your Uncle KD
No. You ain't wrestling that 7 foot. Nah, man, you ain't doing that.
Baby, put them oxtail away. Only we get oxtail now, baby.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm not rocking with that, man. Nah, man. You don't get to call me a sellout and all that and think you eating my food, man. That ain't happening. Nah.
Wow, man. That's wild. Y'all think? I don't know to say this is okay. There's preludes, right? And we talked about that before. There's a prelude, and so we talked about the argument they had back in January. So back in January, they was going, about that. But I guess KD was probably just chilling. But Kendrick said at that point, in about 30 minutes, I'm going live on SportsCenter on why I believe Russell Westbrook is the best player to ever put on an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. He is Mr. Thunder, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know where that came from. And if it just came out of nowhere or why, he went about doing that. But
do you disagree with that?
That he's Mr. Thunder?
Yeah.
Do I disagree?
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is tough. I see the argument for it.
It's tough.
I can see the argument for it. So, but KD taking, he felt some type of way.
KD is not Mr. KD is not right. KD is not Mr. Thunder. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, let's not act like Russell brought us a championship.
Neither did KD.
But still, he took us closer. Let's not act like
Russell.
With Russell, of course, but also with James Harden. Like, so let's not act, and with
I think Kendrick was on that team.
But let's not act. Let's really be honest about the fact that Russell Westbrook has brought notoriety, right, to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But at the same time, he has not bought medals or gold or anything else. We ain't got no trophies over here except for his MVP trophy. But we don't have any trophies. I mean, do we have that? I mean, what do we have? That was with KD
and Russell. That's what I'm saying.
With KD and Russell, but not Russell by himself.
Right. But
when KD left, Russell didn't like continue. Like, it wasn't like the movement just kept moving and we didn't suffer any. We suffered.
Yeah. But he's losing. But see, when you leave, there's no way that anyone's gonna consider you Mr. Thunder. You walked away. Russell got traded.
Did Jordan not leave?
He retired. It's not like he left. It's not
Did he come back?
He came back.
Where'd he come back to?
To Chicago. You talking about the first retirement or the second retirement?
You know what retirement I'm talking about.
Yeah, but they had already moved on, and then the front office slighted MJ.
Only Kobe doesn't leave. Everybody leaves.
Tim Duncan didn't.
Okay, Tim and Kobe. Most other people leave, and they take other opportunities.
Dirk didn't.
I'll give you Dirk. Is Dirk one of the greatest of all time?
Technically, Dwayne Wade didn't leave either.
Yeah, he did.
That was forced. That was forced. That was Pat.
It was a front office thing.
He could have just retired. He still could have just retired, but he left.
Twice.
He went to Chicago.
He went to Chicago. Then he went to Cleveland.
Then he followed LeBron, and then he decided to come back. So yeah, he left too. But all I'm saying is, hey man, people leave, right?
People do leave, but see, that's the thing is when you leave to go to the team that just beat you. Look at Ray Allen in Boston. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm able to really look at his pictures during the 08 season.
That's because y'all petty.
It's not. He left and went to the team that was our rival. When you leave the team that you're playing on to go play with the rival, how can anyone really look at you as Mr. Organization?
Because Ray understood the time was changing. It was like, yo, we had fun. This was really cool. We did our thing. This is over most now. Definitely. LeBron is here. I'm going to join him.
Yeah, and that was still dirty, bro.
It wasn't dirty. It was smart.
Dirty. But I'm not getting into all that.
Did he get another ring?
I'm just saying.
Did he get a ring?
Yes, he got a ring. Yes.
Who didn't get a ring?
He was ring chasing. Yes, most definitely.
When Kevin Garnett was in that movie and he was playing that role, right? Did y'all see that movie, Hidden Gems?
Uncut Gems.
Yeah. Uncut Gems. I say Hidden Gems, but Uncut Gems, right? So in Uncut Gems, when you saw Kevin Durant, I mean not Kevin Garnett, how many rings did Kevin Garnett have?
He had one. Yes, most definitely. I'm not saying
he could have had more than one. But he only
if he came to Boston earlier, he could.
But he only had one, and that wasn't his fault either. He got traded to Boston.
He got traded to Boston, yeah. But I think he also declined like the move prior to that, or didn't fight for his way out.
Okay, well he probably wanted to get it on his own, right? He probably thought he can get it on his own at first.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is he only had one, right? When you look at situations with Ray Allen, how many does he have? All right.
What I'm saying though is that when you leave the organization, you can't get mad when people say you're not Mr. Whatever. That's all I'm saying. You left to go chase rings. Let's just call it what it is. That's what KD did.
He left to go chase a ring.
Two. He got two.
No. He left to go chase a ring. At the time, he had zero.
You're right.
That's the situation.
Which is what he could have. Bro,
he was going to end his career without one.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
With the Thunder? Yeah, he was. Really think about it. Come on.
If he had gone to Boston, he still would have won one.
I know you heard about that situation, man, but you gotta let that go.
Hey, man, listen. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm good. But
at some point, you gotta forgive KD, man.
It's whatever. All I'm saying,
you couldn't even say it, bro. You couldn't even say it.
All I'm saying is that he could have gone somewhere else and still gotten a ring. It's not as if he could not get a ring. He just decided to take the easy route. So Kendrick's tweet, to me, I understood it, and it made sense. You're not Mr. Thunder. You're not. Russell is. He stayed. The only reason why he's not there anymore is because he got traded for Chris Paul. That's the only reason why he's not still in OKC, because I think he would have retired there, which I still think he will retire as a Thunder.
I'll say this. It's tough not to make him Mr. Thunder. It's really tough.
Not to make KD?
No, not KD. It's really tough not to make Russell Westbrook Mr. Thunder. It's really tough, right?
Okay.
Like, it's really tough to say he's not the best to ever do it. You know, on that team, he's not the most talented, right? Like,
no, not
he wasn't the most talented ever to rock that jersey, but he is the player that became synonymous with that jersey, right?
Yeah, he averaged triple doubles twice.
He won the MVP. His attitude is one of Thunder.
Yes,
you feel what I'm saying?
That's yeah.
And so I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. I rock with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess with that being said, just goes to show we know how that goes. We know where we stand on that, and we know how when it comes to taking sides. At the end of the day, you're either left or you're right.
Are they both right or are they both wrong?
I would say they're both wrong.
Okay.
I would say that, but I said Kendrick's wrong for how he came out at Kyrie, right? And then threatening to expose him like live, and then using the word cupcake because he knew it would get at KD anyway. Like, don't think that wasn't strategic. Don't think that wasn't strategic.
Oh man,
he's not playing fair. He's not playing fair.
That wasn't fair. That was a good one, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Brother, subliminals are real.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So Kendrick coming out, like I feel like the way he came at Kyrie was wrong. But KD, if we have any semblance of a relationship, any semblance of one, right? If you'll ever eat another oxtail, then you gonna have to not call him a sellout. You feel me? You can't do that. And that, it's hard to salvage that relationship. After
I'm so
that.
glad I swallowed that word before you said it.
It's just not the way to go. So my prayer is that they can somehow salvage the relationship and get back, but it may be done. You know what I mean? And honestly, like,
I don't see how you come back from sellout, bro.
Man, they used to cry in hotels together, bro. Like,
what were they crying over? That's what I don't understand. What were they crying over?
It could have been the loss to Golden State for all we know. Maybe it was that.
Maybe so. Like, maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
maybe it was the loss to Miami, because I do believe Perkins was on that team.
He was.
Maybe it was girl trouble. Maybe
there's a lot of things they could have been crying over the years.
I don't know. Maybe it's when people find out about his multiple Twitter accounts. Like, I don't know when it was. But they cried together. They cried together, man. So I'm not sure.
Okay, gentlemen. So that being said, let's transition now and let's talk some NFL here on this. And wow, there's a interesting defensive guy out there that wants to be out on the market right now, on the trade market. We have a New York Jet by the name of Jamal Adams requesting for a trade from the New York Jets. Jamal Adams, it's reported, wants to be among the NFL's highest paid defensive players. Jamal Adams' future contract demands will be a big factor in any potential trade talks. Even if the Jets' all-pro safety wouldn't request an extension right away if he is traded to certain teams. Gentlemen, now, given the fact that it is the New York Jets, and if you're a Jets fan listening, I mean, hey, there's no bias here, So, in all due respect, we do say this, but it is the New York Jets. We know they haven't been contending and probably won't be contending anytime soon right now. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts? What would you like to see Mr. Adams land?
Bro, I don't know. I want to see him land in Louisiana. That's where I would love to see him land. If we have a shot. At the same time, it's almost no chance of that happening. Just because my team already has 3 Pro Bowl level safeties.
Yeah, so you took Malcolm Jenkins from us, so
right. So we took him back. So let's not forget that.
Ooh.
We took him back.
We both won a championship with him.
That's facts.
So
but he was with us first. So we went and got him back.
And he ran to us.
So actually we shipped him.
He got away from Drew Brees.
Yeah. But he's back. So we now have we have Malcolm Jenkins. Look, that's Malcolm Jenkins. It's just too much going on in New Orleans. So I don't believe he goes there. Even though it would just be awesome, but that's not the situation. There's so many teams that could use a guy like a Jamal Adams because it's just like teams without that I want to say coach in the backfield, like coach in the secondary. You know what I mean? He's almost like a coach in the secondary. He's very cerebral. He's a dog back there, right? And he's been that type of player for a while. The Dallas Cowboys is a team who's always been looking for an impact player like him in their secondary. I would love to see something like that happen, even though I hate the Cowboys. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, already have one of the best around, right, in Tyrann Mathieu. But having another LSU dog back there would just really, really help them out. You know what I mean? At the same time, I don't know how much help they need. Defensively, they do need help. Remember, they used to have a guy by the name of Eric Berry who used to be that dude.
Yeah.
Feel me? Roaming sideline to sideline, making plays. And when he was there, right, that team was a different team. Now, the landlord, I guess, is back there doing his thing. You feel me? But you look at it, you add a guy like Tyrann Mathieu with the guy like Jamal Adams, now we're talking about something. We're talking about something we're talking dynasty at this point. You feel me? So him going to the Chiefs would be a really good situation that I would love to see. He mentioned a few different teams that he would like to land on, right? But, I mean, golly, I don't know exactly where I want to see him go. Baltimore Ravens could be interesting, right? You look at him, Earl Thomas together, right? Like, what type of nastiness is that? Yeah. That's real nasty, right?
Like, he's not stiff-armed, I'm just saying.
Hey, look.
I mean, I'm just saying, you mentioned Earl Thomas, I couldn't help it.
Bro, when the ball goes in the air, E.T. ready to rock.
That dude didn't see that coming at all.
When the ball's on the ground, it's a little tougher. But that's why you need a Jamal Adams. Because Jamal Adams ain't little and light like that. Like, I'm not to call E.T. little or light, because you know what I mean? You got stiff arm bias or whatever. But what I'm saying is, you look at a guy like
stiff arm by a brick wall.
Yes.
It wasn't like he just got hit by, like, let's say Fournette. He got hit.
Look, these are facts, man. These are facts. But at the end of the day, you add a guy like Jamal Adams, that adds something to your secondary, which puts Earl Thomas back in the situation he was in when they were when he was with the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Like a Legion of Boom type of thing.
Man, the Legion of Boom, it mattered that he could be a free roaming safety, only playing that Ed Reed type role, right, where he's trying to pick the ball off, but he had an enforcer. Adding a Jamal Adams to that Ravens secondary could bring in an enforcer, right? And now we're looking at a team that could possibly overcome the Chiefs. So this actually, I love moves this late in the offseason because they can actually tell the story on how the season goes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And basically wherever if Jamal Adams leaves, because I'm in full agreement with him getting the heck out of that Jets organization. They're not ready yet. Right? It's going to be a minute, even though they spent some money on Le'Veon Bell last year, even though Sam Darnold is on his way, right? Like it's not there yet, and it's time for him to go. So by all means, leave. But when he leaves, where he goes could tell you how the season ends. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Where he goes could really have a major impact on what this looks like at the end of the day. If he joins a team like the San Francisco 49ers, this could be trouble.
So, Joe Douglas, the GM of the Jets, was in the front office for the Eagles, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying that Jamal is coming to Philly, but I could see where they make a small trade to make it happen. Now the contract that Jamal wants that's going to kill the cap. I think we're already over the cap right now, and not adjusting for the COVID however that's going to impact it.
Is your guard going on IR, or is he going on IR with with a designation to return?
I haven't heard yet, but the way it happened last time, Brandon Brooks recovered mad fast, and then he had the best season of his career last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if he decided if he attacked physical therapy, because I think he just had his surgery like 2 days ago. I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to come back for the playoffs. I wouldn't push it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Which, when we were talking about offensive line last week, you threw me off so bad, I forgot to mention Brandon Brooks as a part of that, and he is a Pro Bowler, so I gotta make that correction. But I could see where they do like a 1-year rental type of thing with Jamal Adams. I could see where they could do something like that. That's the type of move that Howie would do. I wouldn't mind it. I would love to see that with Darius Slay out there and Will Parks and that defense. That'd be phenomenal. Do I see it happening? No.
Y'all getting Darius Slay, and I purposely left the Eagles off my list.
I know you did. That's why I wanted to say it. That's exactly why I wanted to say it.
I mean, I didn't leave them off the list because I don't believe that they're in it. I left them off the list because I gave it to you. You know what I mean? It was the alley-oop.
Oh, okay. All right. Great alley-oop.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not Kendrick Perkins out here, but what I'm saying, but I feel like it could work for the Eagles. Are missing a strong piece to their secondary by losing Malcolm Jenkins. He was a leader for them in the secondary, right? And by him leaving to replace him with almost a younger version of himself, right? Like, that would be incredible. That would be incredible. And so I would see it happening. Darius Slay, I thought, was one of the biggest gets for you all in the offseason. I thought that was phenomenal, the way that happens. And if you just kind of follow the Eagles fan base, you know that they've been looking for another impact player on that defensive side of the ball. Like, they were all in on trying to get the defensive end from the Jaguars. They really wanted him, right? So that was a situation. And now that Adams is out, they want a chance to add him as well. Right?
That's why I could see them doing a 1-year rental type thing with him. I could see that.
But the issue is that you have 9 players on your team right now making at least $10 million per year, right?
Yeah.
And this guy wants to get paid. Now, he's not just leaving for no reason, right? He wants to get paid. And him wanting to get paid could limit the ability of the Eagles to bring him in, right? Because I'm thinking he wants to get paid. And I don't know if he wants to get paid in a way where he'll settle for a 1-year deal with a team that's in the middle of the pack as opposed to right on the edge of winning the next Super Bowl.
Who's in the middle of the pack?
Huh?
You saying the Eagles are in the middle of the pack?
Are you telling me you're on a precipice of winning a Super Bowl?
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Wait, do you believe that with
I wholeheartedly believe that. With every fiber of my being, I believe that.
Is this with your Eagles heart or with your NFL heart?
This is as a football fan, I believe they are right there. Most definitely.
You were about to say as a fan, but then
as
you
a
said football fan.
I'm trying to let you know. But I'm trying to make sure you understand.
I think you mean as an Eagles fan because you tell me why you believe the Eagles are on a precipice of a Super Bowl berth.
They just gained so much speed on the offense, just in terms of their wide receivers, right? They still have a strong offensive line, even with Brandon Brooks gone, depending on who they decide to replace him with.
Who would you add at wide receiver that gives you that much confidence?
Jalen Reagor. You got Deshaun Jackson coming back. Hold on. You had Deshaun Jackson coming back.
You don't. You know Deshaun Jackson's back for a weekend, and then he's out again.
Stop.
You know that, and I know that.
Stop.
You know.
Let me explain why.
Where you picking him in fantasy?
Can't explain. Huh?
Where you picking him? When you gonna pick him up in fantasy?
Well, I picked Deshaun Jackson up in fantasy.
At what point? I
don't know that I'm going to be honest. You know why? Because no. It's not because I don't think he can do it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's because I feel like it jinxes my team when I pick one of my teams, the players from my team. I swear to God, I do. I almost don't ever pick up
if Carson Wentz was the best, if Carson Wentz was one of the best right now, right, which he is a great quarterback, but if Carson Wentz was the best player on the board, you're not gonna pick him up?
Yes,
you will, right?
Yes, I will.
All right, cool.
But reluctantly, because I'm thinking it's going to jinx my team. But I will pick. Cause I had him as my backup last season.
I give you think it might jinx your team. I give you that.
Because I almost never pick an Eagle, bro. I'll get the defense for team defense, but I never, for the most part, I never pick an Eagle.
Have you heard Sean's album?
Yes.
Have you heard the last song?
Go ahead.
Called Be Honest With Me. And I need you to be honest with me about the situation. I need you to be honest with me about this situation. You know you don't believe that Deshaun Jackson is the way to the future. You don't.
I didn't say he was the way. I didn't. No,
you don't believe
I did not say. Hold on. That is not true. That is not true.
Is Deshaun Jackson going to be in uniform, playing and active by week 4? Please tell me that.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
You believe that with your heart?
I do believe that. We have Marquise Goodwin on the team now. Okay? That opens up a lot. Hold on.
Come on, man.
Hold on.
Goodwin?
Don't play Goodwin like that, man.
I have to.
Don't play him like that.
Because I believed in him for so long. I believed in him when he was with the Bills. He showed me nothing. I believed in him.
They had no good quarterback.
I believed in him when he first got to the San Francisco 49ers. Right? And he was okay when he first got there. But then as Garoppolo got better, Goodwin disappeared. I believed in him during that time. Where is he? Where is he when they're making their run? He's not there. They got to rely on the Debo Sanders.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was injured.
Say it again?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was injured.
You think he was injured?
I believe he was.
You know he wasn't making an impact.
That could be for a number of reasons.
The injury.
That could be for a number of reasons.
The major reason is because he's not that dude. He has blazing
Who said
speed.
He is that dude? I'm not saying. You're confusing what you're conflating it, bro.
I'm saying even on the Eagles, he's gonna disappear on you, bro. He's going to disappear on you. No, I'm saying
they won't be able to find him.
No, he's going to disappear on you. You think
Nah.
he's going to be there, but he's going to
Nah.
James Harden you in the
Nah.
playoffs.
No.
He's going to disappear.
No.
All right.
No, you're just used to Drew Brees doing that. So don't.
No, Drew don't disappear.
Don't do that.
My defense disappears.
Don't do that.
But Drew don't disappear.
Don't do that. Don't do
My
that.
defense.
Don't do that.
Drew don't go nowhere.
Listen.
Because
he ain't been far in the playoffs in a while.
Every miracle wasn't because of Drew. It was actually in spite of Drew. Every miracle was in spite of Drew.
Minnesota play.
All right. Listen, let me tell you this. If you're asking me, do I believe the Eagles will have one of the best chances to make it to the Super Bowl this year? I'm telling you, I believe they do. That's why Jamal said that the Eagles were one of the teams that he would be traded to. That's why he chose that. The Cowboys don't have that chance. I don't care what anyone says. As long as Dak Prescott is their quarterback, and as long as Jerry Jones is their owner, they're not winning anything.
I used to believe that, but I don't now because of CeeDee Lamb.
Well, see, okay, here's the thing. Great route runner. No problem with him. But he's going to do all that to not get past the ball.
That's not facts.
Bro, have you seen Dak?
Yes, and I
Dak
see
will
Dak
overthrow him, or he will underthrow him by 5 yards.
When Dak has a wide receiver who can actually get open, right, which he's shown us in the last few years, when Dak finally gets a wide receiver, he's going to find that wide receiver. What he had in the past, yes, he does.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he's not.
If
you're looking at highlights, that tells you one thing.
I'm looking at stats. Who's
Prescott.
the number two leading passer in the league?
Bro.
Dak Prescott.
You know what? For last season, right?
Yes.
You know why? Look at the cupcake defenses they played. Whenever they played a team that actually had a winning record or was 500, they didn't. They had I forgot what the record was. It was below 500 in terms of their record, and he performed poorly when they played against those teams. Dak Prescott had a inflated stat line last season. He did not play the way that his numbers said that he did. That's what he does.
Are we not talking over the course of the season?
We are talking about over the course of the season.
Yes. Season, we're looking at 4,902 yards.
Yes, and
but you're telling me he can't throw.
No.
You're telling me he can't throw to wide open receivers.
I'm telling you, when he did it last season, it was against soft defenses. It was like playing against kindergartners out there for him. So of course he was going to be able to put up those numbers.
Not facts. When he's playing against when he has a guy like Amari Cooper, before he's never had a guy like Amari Cooper. Never had one. Right? Didn't have a guy like that.
And when did Carson Wentz have a fast receiving core?
Have an entirely fast receiving core?
Yes. When did that ever happen? That just happened this offseason.
I think so. But when
this offseason?
When has Carson Wentz made it through an entire season without going down?
2 years. Rookie year and this past season. His rookie year and this past season. Oh,
Did he get it all this season?
No. Not in terms of being knocked out for the rest of the season, no.
Wait. He didn't get hurt at all this season?
He may have been nicked up, but it was nothing. No, you're talking about playoffs. You're talking about playoffs. And he got
hurt at all this season?
Hold on. You're talking about 16 games. I'm talking about regular season.
I'm not talking about regular season.
You're talking about the playoff game.
I'm talking about making it through the entire season. Your entire season.
That was our entire season because when Jadeveon Clowney took him out for that playoff game, that was the season.
Did he make it through?
That was it.
Did he make it through?
No, because he got speared in the back of his helmet.
Hey man, he didn't make it through. He didn't.
If you're talking about a regular season, his rookie year and this past season, he made it. All 16 games. This idea that he's fragile and injury prone, I don't buy into that. He had 2 seasons. No, he had 2 seasons. One season where he got where the ACL got torn, and in the following season when he was recovering from that. he got
You
hurt
don't
again
wanna
because he was
believe in it.
overcompensating.
You
But
don't want to believe in it, Derrick.
it's not about whether I want to believe in it or not. The facts tell me rookie year, he played full season without injury. This past season, he played full year without injury.
Tell me about them other years.
The other years, like I just said, torn ACL in week 11. And I forgot which game he went out for the following season, but it was because he overcompensated and messed up his back with it.
But
so with that, I understand.
But you're telling me that a Dak Prescott. You're telling me that a Dak
What's
Prescott.
so special about Dak Prescott? Please tell me what's so special about him.
Dak Prescott does well when he has wide receivers that can get open.
Please tell me why Jerry hasn't paid him then.
Say it again?
Why has Jerry not paid him?
Racism.
Racism, darn it.
Oh,
it's always the case.
All right.
Where's my race card?
I'm like, look, man. Listen.
Oh, man. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Black lives don't matter for him, huh?
Look,
Listen,
man.
all I'm saying is
it took him a while to pay.
There is no, not a while, bro.
It took him a while to pay Zeke.
They knew
Zeke
they were
hold
going to
out.
pay Zeke. Zeke had to hold out.
Zeke had to hold out, right?
Yes.
So it took him a while to pay Zeke. Amari Cooper was another one. It took him a little while to pay Amari, right? And now, right before you get into this Dak situation, he's like, okay, cool. When I pay Dak, I'm leveraging the future of this team, right? Like I'm basically saying this is it, and we're gonna have to win with this squad or not. Right?
I completely agree.
And so I understand why he's a bit hesitant. I understand why that is. But now we're looking at you look at a Dak Prescott. If Dak comes out, I would say it's in Dak's best interest to come into camp whenever camp starts, and then show Jerry what it's like to have a Dak with two wide receivers who can get wide open. Not just
Dak.
one.
I want Jerry to pay Dak. I want him to pay.
I know you want.
I want him to pay that black man. I want to see that black man get paid so well. I want to see him get $35 million a year. I want to see it. Let me see that black man get paid $35 million a year for 5 years.
You want him like I want the Falcons to keep Dan Quinn.
Please,
like that's
let me tell you something.
What that is.
No, I want him to get $40 million a year.
You don't believe in that.
I want that black man to get paid. I want him to get $40 a year for 5 years, no trade clause. I want to see that. Let's bring that to Dak Prescott. That black man deserves that. Most definitely. Let's get him that money. Let's see him get paid. I would love it. That would bring me so much joy to see that black man get paid, man. Get that money. Be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I want to see him get paid more than Carson Wentz got paid. I want to see him get paid more than Russell Wilson got paid. I want to see him get more than Jerry Jones earns. I want him to get paid. Let's do that. Let's lock him up for 10 years. Lock him up.
You in your bag. You in your bag.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do that, please. Please.
You in your bag. Because you don't believe in Dak.
Please let Dak get paid $45 to $50 million a year. Please. Let Jerry Jones pay him. I would love to see it. Dear God, if you hear me,
man,
please.
Lord, give him a sign.
I want to see it.
Man,
I want to see that. That black man deserves that money. You know what he could do for the black community if he got $50 million a year? Do you know what could happen for little black boys and girls in Dallas if they got paid that money? They could have courts be built. They could have computer labs and all type of tech. They can all have a MacBook Pro to go to school.
Stop it, man.
Set the 16-inch.
Stop it. You don't believe in this man. You don't believe in this man. I would love to see that.
Let's get it.
You don't believe in this man.
I believe in him. I believe in him.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the troll is real on Debate Fuel. I have to give you the knowledge.
Said, all the little black boys and black girls that have laptops, Apples even.
You select me as your number one quarterback, your highest paid quarterback, and I guarantee you,
I don't want
everybody
another
gonna have
man
MacBooks.
to get paid more than Dak Prescott for the rest of the league's history. I don't want to see in the future. I don't want to see another man get paid higher than Dak Prescott gets paid. That man deserves that money. That man deserves that. I want to see Zeke get jealous over how much Dak Prescott gets paid. I want Amari to get pissed off at how much Dak Prescott got paid.
I know you don't believe in this man.
I want Roger Goodell to say, what just happened? I want to see all that. Black men don't deserve that much power. How?
Well, all right.
You don't believe.
I want to see that. Man. I want to see owners ask that question. How did that black man get that much money?
Well, okay, fellas. On that note, speaking of highest paid and
that's a W, bro. That's a W.
Highest hype and best of all time and all this stuff.
That's a W.
Now we're gonna transition with a little more NFL talk, but we're gonna do this in a what you call a forever topic here on Debate Fuel. And so we have a nice Facebook group page. Shout out to the OTS Sports group page. Shout out to the MTMV Sports group page as well, where lots of cool debate topics get thrown into these groups. And guys, keep posting because you never know when we might actually bring up a topic right here on Debate Fuel. So the first topic we had a post that was shared by Mr. Freddie Kennard. And in this post, it said, agree to disagree on NFL's top 10 tight ends in 2020. So, and there was an honorable mention, so you do get entitled to an honorable mention. Now, fellas, as I read this list, as I'm done with this list, I want you guys to go at it and let me know who you're keeping, who you're removing, who you're replacing, who doesn't even deserve to be in this list, all that jazz. All right, so here we go. Number 1, Travis Kelce. Number 2, George Kittle. Number 3, Zach Ertz. Number 4, Mark Andrews. Number 5, Jared Cook. Number 6, Hunter Henry. Number 7, Tyler Higbee. Number 8, Austin Hooper. Number 9, Jason Witten. And number 10, Kyle Rudolph. With honorable mention going to Rob Gronkowski. Fellas, based off of this top 10 and this honorable mention, who you agreeing with and who are you taking out and replacing that is within this list?
Man, I like his list. I think it's a pretty decent list. There's major names kind of missing from the list though. I look at a guy like a Darren Waller. So Darren Waller playing for the Raiders, he was a great job. He was a great pickup in fantasy if you were looking for somebody to kind of grab. He was almost the go-to in that offense, and Derek Carr really vibed with him. I think last year he ended up with 117 targets. He caught 90% of those. He caught 76% of those at 90 catches. Scored 3 touchdowns, totaling 1,145 receiving yards. You look at a guy like him, and Waller was great, right? Waller was good. I don't like the fact that Rob Gronkowski isn't ahead of that, right? Like Rob Gronkowski isn't in somewhere in that list because there's room for Rob Gronkowski. We look at you look at most tight ends and they're playing really deep into their careers, right? Mm-hmm. So tight ends, like you look at a guy like Ben Watson, who's I think 39 at this point, right? 38 or 39. And so you look at Ben Watson, and he was still like the starting tight end for the Patriots last season as they made their playoff run. Not super productive, right? But Rob is very like Rob when he left the game looking like a shell of himself, right? But he's had time to recover, and the whole season he's had time to recover, lose weight, and so I'm thinking that if he's coming back, he should be a good go. Another guy I think who may be a sleeper pickup for some people is O.J. Howard, who's now playing with the Rob Gronkowski and a Tom Brady. So a guy like O.J. Howard could be a guy who starts to emerge, right? Do I have a problem with his list? Not for the most part. People can debate who's 1 and 2. So some people may feel like a guy like George Kittle belongs to be number 1 or should be at that number 1 spot because he's a little bit more explosive than the Travis Kelce at this point in his career, right? But at the same time, the offense kind of revolves around a Travis Kelce because the Chiefs don't necessarily have a second receiver, right? It's Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Like that's the situation, right? But at the same time, Kittle is almost, the leading guy for the San Francisco 49ers, especially now with a guy like Deebo Samuel's out for a while, right? And so you're looking at him being out. Now Kittle is the guy, and the guy hands down. And so I think Kittle's number 1 for me. Travis Kelce is number 2. Zach Ertz, I don't mind at number 3. Ertz is always a good player. Actually, a lot of Eagles fans have been kind of floating his name around in trades over the course of the offseason, right?
I don't understand that.
And I don't see him going anywhere because he is that safety blanket for Wentz, man. And so I don't see Ertz going anywhere. And I mean, they actually have a lot of good players. Mark Andrews, him being number 4, I understand that. I like that because Mark Andrews was the go-to for Lamar Jackson. Very similar to the way Mike Vick used to go to his tight ends. Now Lamar Jackson goes to his tight ends because those are sure hands that I can count on. And so I like that. Jared Cook could be a little high on this list. He didn't start to make impact until towards the end of last season, but I do feel like he'll come back and do something. I think the only reason he's above a guy like a Hunter Henry is because Hunter Henry is now in a situation where, he doesn't know who's going to be his starting quarterback. Right. And depending on who his starting quarterback is will truly affect his value. If it's Tyrod Taylor, then I think he moves further down on this list. I'm not sure that he's going to be the type of impact player he was when he had a guy like a Phillip Rivers. And so that to me is there. Jason Witten being on this list is laughable.
That's Dak's guy. Yeah, I know he's not in Dallas anymore.
That's what I'm saying. And so he's going to a team where the better tight end's already there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like there's already a better tight end, a younger tight end, a faster tight end, 1,000-yard tight end. Why is Jason Witten on this list when that guy exists? Straight up, right? I ain't mean to rhyme, but I'm a rapper. So like it don't make sense for Jason Witten to even be on this list. That's nostalgic. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what year are you living in? This can't
5
be
years ago.
List, right? And so I say remove him from the list, take him off the list, and then take him out of your mind, right? And then just don't even pick him up in fantasy. Like pick him up if Darren Waller goes down, but outside of that, come on, man, not Jason Witten. Austin Hooper, I kind of get, but I mean, have you guys seen David and I think it's Njukwe, right? The tight end for the Browns. Have y'all seen him this offseason?
Oh, and Njoku.
Njoku. I'm saying Njukwe. Njoku. Yeah. Have you seen him this offseason?
No.
You haven't seen him?
No.
Yoked up.
Really?
Ready to yes, and ready to play. Play. Like y'all look.
Do you believe in
the offseason?
No. Well, I don't really.
Y'all believe Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
I don't love Baker. I believed in Baker at the beginning of last season because he looked like a younger Drew Brees. That's what he looked like in the first game of the preseason last year, right? After that, it just went downhill from there. But the reason it went downhill from there is because he had no protection on offensive line. They have made investments in the offensive line, and now with the investments that they've made in his offensive line, you can play Madden, and you can have stars all around, have no offensive line, and watch what happens to you. right?
Mm-hmm.
And in real life, it's the same way. You have no offensive line. You don't matter what weapons you have. You can have Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, everybody. Nick Chubb, don't matter. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have Njoku. You can have that, but have no offensive line, and you have nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically like that. And now I feel like he now has a better offensive line. They made some investments there, and with that being the case, now you look at an Njoku, and Njoku can actually do something. You feel me? And so I
Yeah.
feel like he will make a place on this list. Kyle Rudolph, I like Kyle Rudolph being added to the list because I do see his value, but I don't see him above a guy like a Rob Gronkowski. If Gronk is back, he deserves a spot on this list, not as an honorable mention.
Not at all. I would easily swap him for Witten. That's not even a question. But I think Hunter Henry, I would have put him at 5. I would have put him at 5.
I can't though.
Well, see, and I get why you say that. I think it's very possible they go after Kaepernick or Cam Newton. So if they get one of those two guys, I think he could be 5.
Okay.
I think he could be 5, possibly even 4. Excuse me.
Not 4. I can't give him 4 above Mark.
I'm just saying possible. I'm not saying he will, but I'm just saying it's very possible. It's also possible that Zach Ertz slides down to 4 or 5.
Why?
Would bump them up because of the weapons that Wentz has now. Not saying that Ertz would not be that type of talent, but the more he has to throw to, the less that Ertz might get the ball during the game. Not to say that he won't get big yards, but you have more targets. You know, it's just I think it's very possible he could slide down in terms of stats.
Do you think that having all those weapons on the outside now opens up the middle of the field a little bit more for a guy?
I think it does. I think it does. But I think that I'm just taking into consideration because he also has Miles Sanders behind him. Dude can catch. I mean, honestly, he reminds me of Christian McCaffrey a lot in terms of how he plays. Not saying that he is Christian McCaffrey, but because I see your face. I'm not saying that. I'm saying though, in terms of his ability, he reminds me of Christian McCaffrey in that way. So I think that it's very possible that target wise, I think Zach Ertz's targets go down just a little bit more than 2 years ago.
I get it.
That's going to make people not consider him a top 5 or top 3, I should say, top 3 tight end. He'll be a top 5, but so I say I think I'll put Ertz a little bit down on the list. Outside of that, I'm not mad at this, to be honest. I really don't understand why Witten's on this list. This is not 5-6 years ago. I really don't know why he's on this list. Gronk should easily, because just like you said, OJ Howard being there, that's going to open up Gronk so much. It's going to be like when he and Aaron Hernandez was there, and not in Tampa, but when they were playing together in New England, and Gronk wasn't even at his prime yet. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a crazy. I could see where Gronk goes up to 5 or 6. I could see that.
I'm gonna give you a name that's on another list. Eric Ebron, who's going to the.
I forgot about him.
Eric Ebron, who's going to the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
And if Ben Roethlisberger is healthy again, then you know the way he loves to use his tight ends.
That's
right.
True.
And Eric Ebron is a matchup nightmare. He's a fast. He showed last year. Well, he actually showed the year before that he has hands again, right? And so now he can catch, right? Like you're looking at a guy with great speed, who's in a good offense, who would actually be a go-to guy for a quarterback who loves to throw to the tight end. So I see a guy like Eric Ebron making his way on this list. People are in love with Tyler Higbee. I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm not there yet. Like, I'm just not there yet, right?
And it's because of golf, isn't it?
It is a little bit because of golf, right? Because I don't fully see it. Like, I just don't see it.
Me either.
And so I don't see the reliability there. And I don't know, man. I'm not there yet with him.
I would knock him down
but
too.
I'm not there yet.
I would knock him down too.
So I say in that particular spot, you leave room for a guy like Darren Waller on his list anyway. You leave room for a guy like Derrick Waller and a guy like Eric Ebron, and for them not to be on your list, I think you're doing the list wrong if you don't have those guys on your list at all. And then for the honorable mentions, I don't know. I like Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper may be a little high on this list because I feel like I don't know. I feel like you look at a guy like Austin Hooper, he'll be competing, right? So he'll be competing. And so I don't know. I don't know if he'll be competing for targets. And I don't know if he ends up being the number one receiver because I don't think he's the more talented receiver on that roster. I just think he was used more in Atlanta. But I don't think he's the more talented tight end, right?
And he went where again?
He's at the Browns.
Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work.
He's signed
that ain't gonna work. I
don't think he goes.
You see what happened? You see what happened with Odell and Landry, stat wise.
Yeah. So who brings in Austin Hooper and makes him the number? Like, why is he?
I don't see that either.
I don't see it being that way. I feel like if they do start featuring the tight end a lot more, I think the feature goes to Njoku. I don't think the feature goes to Hooper. Even though Hooper showed a lot of skill in Atlanta, right? But at the time he was dealing with a guy who was more established in his offense in Matt Ryan. And you know, Matt Ryan loves to use the tight end, possibly a lot more than Baker does. And so I don't see Austin Hooper making that big of an impact, but like I said, I could be wrong because last year I was shocked by Darren Waller and the amount of progress he made and the amount of production he had.
I actually think Austin Hooper leaving Atlanta hurts Atlanta even more.
It does.
I think it hurts some more.
They bring in I forgot who they brought in. The guy from Baltimore. They brought in the tight end from Baltimore.
I forgot his name.
It's on the tip of my tongue, man. But we'll figure it out. But we look at they bought him in, and we'll just see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes.
Hayden Hurst.
Yeah. Hayden Hurst was actually a pretty decent.
He was really good in Baltimore.
Well, actually, he wasn't super productive. That was the situation. He played second fiddle to Mark Andrews. Right?
Oh yeah.
He played second fiddle to Mark Andrews, and plus he wasn't as productive as you kind of thought he was going to be in that situation because he was a burner. Like you thought he was kind of one of those guys who could actually be different. He felt like at some points to me he felt like he was going to be pardon this when I say it, but he felt like he was going to be somewhat of an Aaron Hernandez to Mark Andrews Gronk. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like, and that's what I thought he was going to be, more of like, those move tight ends, but at the end of the day, it didn't really work out like that. And so I think him going to Atlanta to replace Austin Hooper, I honestly just don't – maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking Austin Hooper is not like a super talented, like ridiculously talented tight end. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that, but
I think he's good. I don't see him
I don't see him. I don't see him on the same level as I see some of these other tight ends, and maybe I'm wrong, and he'll have to prove me wrong.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
agree with that.
I would say I have to agree with you, Rick, because based off looking at this list and some names that I'm about to mention, I feel are very, very under the radar and very slept on in ways. Now, you did mention one of those names in Eric Ebron, because I definitely felt like he was a guy that has been murdering. I've had him on fantasy teams, and he's always been productive. So I don't know how you don't have him at least in the honorable mention.
There's another name that I want to say, but I know you're gonna mention it. I know you're gonna mention it.
We gonna get there.
I know you're gonna mention it.
All right, for the most part, I agree with both of you gentlemen. Most of these names, I agree with. Not so much Austin Hooper. Definitely not Jason Witten, and honestly, even with Higbee, those are probably three names I would subtract from this list. I think Kyle Rudolph was a little too low, for my opinion, just because I feel like people forget that he's pretty highly utilized, and especially with the whole Stephon Diggs situation, he's gonna get utilized a whole lot more.
That's right.
So he's definitely gonna be one of the top productive tight ends for sure. And
he will.
So for me, who came to mind first off was a veteran tight end by the name of Greg Olsen, because this man is in Seattle now.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is definitely going to be targeting Mr. Olsen, because think about the way Cam Newton loved looking for Greg Olsen and throwing it to him. Christian McCaffrey kind of hurt that production just a little bit. So
did Olsen's foot.
Yeah, Olsen's foot injury also kind of hindered his production. He admitted he wasn't as productive as he wanted to be this year, but then when McCaffrey was kind of going off, he was kind of like a distant memory. So now that he's had a chance to heal up, especially with what's been going on, yeah, bro, I'm totally saying, look, we got to go with Greg Olsen. Cannot forget about him, and I feel like him and Russ are going to be a dangerous combination, and including some of Russell's other weapons that he has. But I really feel like he loves throwing the tight ends, and it definitely, I feel like it's going to definitely work out for Greg Olsen there.
How do you think how do you think him and Will Dissly are gonna kind of play off of each other, or will they hurt each other?
I think
Dissly was a pretty, was used a lot last year.
Yeah, like I think he would play off pretty well, because Greg seems to get snuck on a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, especially with Seattle, you can never count out Seattle. A lot of people kind of count out their offense, and they think it's like, oh, it's just Russell. And it's like, he gets a lot of patience back there because of his scrambling ability. And Greg's the type of person, he can catch it very, very deep. And at the end of the day, if he sees him open like that, especially, God forbid, he has a bad matchup, more than likely, I feel like him and Greg Olsen are going to be, like, phenomenal together. Like, I really feel it coming. You know what I mean? Okay. So, and I'm just taking experience off of a guy like Cam Newton and his arm, and how he really, really he trusted Greg Olsen more than any other receiver he's ever had. So I'm like, I could see Russell being in a similar light with that. Granted, he has other weapons he does trust, like Baldwin and all of them. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that connection is going to be pretty sweet. Another guy I wanted to bring in real quick, because I know we're running low on time. Another guy I wanted to mention is a up-and-comer, and I feel like he's going to be a problem within, if not this year being a breakout, within this year and next year. My boy Jonnu Smith out of the Tennessee Titans.
Bet.
I say that because with Delaney and how Delaney was that guy, but then as he slowly kind of phased out, Jonnu had a lot more chances to shine this year, or last year, I should say. And I had him on fantasy, and I kept my eyes on him, and he had moments where he was really just stud status. And so I can see where, definitely in Tannehill's case, he looks like the type of quarterback, again, that likes throwing the tight ends as well for some reason. And of course, we already know that big guy in the backfield. So I can tell that as the receiving core is still working its way up consistently, I could see him going to Jonnu, especially in red zone situations, because he seems to be really good in the red zone. And so I'm looking at Jonnu very heavy, and I feel like, again, he's younger than Delaney was, so he's definitely a come-up receiver. But I won't count out Delaney either, because he did go to the Raiders. And I do feel like Derek Carr might actually connect with him pretty well. Delaney has some injury issues, but if he's healthy, he's another vet that I feel could be a part of this list a little bit, maybe in an honorable mention kind of way. I don't necessarily know about top 10, but Delaney Walker definitely is another guy I feel like could stand out. And I agree with you fellas on the OJ Howard situation. However, I go reverse though. I feel like Grob is the decoy for Howard to shine, not the other way around. I don't have a lot of faith in the Buccaneers this year. I really don't think it's going to be what everybody's thinking.
Really?
I don't. I do not. I feel like it's going
Mike
to be,
Evans.
I feel like they're going to be what the Browns were last year because they're getting that exact hype that the Browns got last year.
That's
The hype the Browns got last year. Oh, they got Odell. Oh, they got oh man, wow.
But they got Brady. They got Brady. That's not Baker.
But Brady isn't Brady anymore, and we're gonna find that out at this point.
I don't think he's rejuvenated, man. I think he's rejuvenated.
We're gonna see.
Y'all say Brady's not Brady because everybody keeps forgetting Brady had no weapons last year.
Yeah,
none.
Again,
no weapons.
We definitely will see. We will see. I don't necessarily think so. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just don't. I don't get that feeling like, oh, all of a sudden the Buccaneers are just gonna dominate the entire NFC.
So who do you think coming out? Who do you think comes out the NFC South?
Who do I think comes out the NFC South?
Watch your mouth now. Watch your mouth.
Truth be told, right now, I'm gonna go with Rick Saints right now by default because they're the only ones. Remember what you said, Derrick, about remember what you said about your division?
Yeah.
And remember how you said by default your Eagles would win, you feel, because they're the only ones with the same system intact?
Yep.
That would be Rick Saints in the NFC South. Because yes, the Falcons Falcons do still have Dan Quinn and they still have the same system, but as y'all just mentioned, they lost Austin Hooper. They've lost some other pieces. They got
Todd Gurley.
They did get Todd Gurley, and we'll see how
he holds up. Yeah,
we'll see. That is the Falcons are a possible contender to go back and forth with the Saints, but I still give it to the Saints by an edge, just because they have been probably the most consistent. The Falcons have been going backwards a little bit. They've been upward and then backward since that Super Bowl year. They've been a little back and forth. So we'll see. But I have to give it to the Saints coming out of that division. And I'm telling you, it'll be a battle, and I'm pretty sure the Bucs may try because Brady has beaten Breeze in head-to-head battles a lot. So we'll see. But I feel like this will be that year where Breeze may actually outdo Brady for once and be like, nah, Playboy, this is my division. I don't know.
Only because he got back on track with a lot of his receivers.
Look, man, I'm gonna say it like this. I think the Falcons season comes down to Todd Gurley. Are you healthy? Are you not healthy? And if he is healthy, which is what I'm hearing, right? Then they'll be scary because you have Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and a healthy Todd Gurley. That's a scary offense to deal with. You know what I mean? I see that. I want to mention two tight ends that I think could really pop up on this list in 2020, and this is just help for those fantasy people out there. Noah Fant was a really good pickup later on in the year when Drew Lock became the quarterback. Drew Lock is the established quarterback right now. They have Sutton, KJ Hamler. They picked up, who's a slot guy. They picked him up in the draft, and Jerry Jeudy, who they picked up in the draft as well. They totally revamped. And also now they have Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay. They totally revamped their offense, and honestly,
that's gonna be crazy.
They could have one of the best Madden offenses ever, right? But that's real talk. Yeah. But the question is, will it really work out on the field? I think the Browns are receiving. I think the Broncos are receiving the type of hype that the Browns got last year because of all the pieces they have. The real question is, will the offensive line and the growth and development support all these new pieces they have. So I'm thinking Noah Fant, and please don't forget about Evan Ingram, who was injured most of last year, right? But Evan Ingram coming back to a situation where you have now a second-year Daniel Jones who did surprisingly well, right? So you look at a Daniel Jones and a Saquon Barkley who shouldn't be injured this year like he was last year, which hurt him a lot. Which hurt his production. And so you're looking at a guy like Evan Ingram and a Noah Fant. I think both of those guys could have pretty decent 2020s.
I agree, man. We'll see. And I forgot to mention Mr. Jack Doyle coming out of, the Colts. I never count out. They're always known for using tight ends. And Jack Doyle definitely, even
Special
with Ebron
Frank
gone
Wright.
now, Jack Doyle is definitely another one you can't
Big
sleep
facts.
on and forget about. So, fellas, that being said, it has been a great show. At this time, we go ahead and do real quick for our wrap-up, our final fuel. It is time for our final fuel. So, fellas, go ahead and give your final fuel. Let people know where they can find you, and we're going to call this a show for today.
Hey, look, man, I'm going to concede my final few to Derrick right now. I'm going to do it after him with that great rant that he did earlier. He leaves today as the winner.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Well, I'll say this. I actually want to see the Chargers pick up Colin Kaepernick. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to see them pick him up because I think that the Chargers I think they can pick up right where they left off with Phillip Rivers if they get either Kaepernick or Cam Newton. Maybe more so with Cam Newton because, he's played a lot more recently, but I think that's a good team for Kaepernick to go to. I know my last one was probably about Kaepernick as well, but I actually like the idea of him being there with what they can do in Los Angeles. The Chargers to me are probably the better team in LA anyway, by default. So I think that would give them the edge, getting a quarterback that can actually throw outside of Jared Goff. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at
Rick
that.
Sincere, what you got for your final fuel, brother?
Man, to be honest, I want to know what the NFL players will do at the end of the day. I think the NFL players right now are a little bit more inclined to play outside of the NBA. So the NBA players are making their decision right now whether they're going to play or not, right? If they want to kind of lend a voice or how they want to lend their voice to the overall struggle. NFL players may not even deal with this. And I think it's because they're, Roger Goodell has come out and said something and they feel like they're in a better place. The question is, at the end of the day, where are we in the fight and the struggle as we near the beginning of the season, right? These NFL guys have been working out. They're ready, right? They're ready for a season. And I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. It's a truncated situation for sure, because we haven't even gotten any OTAs or any mini camps. And so I don't know exactly, what training camp looks like and when that stuff's happening. But I do know that, this will be a deal. And hopefully if Kaepernick gets signed prior to the beginning of the season, it'll be a big win for the NFL. And those players will play without even thinking about it. But the question is, as we inch closer, right, and you hear these rumblings, I love what Derrick mentioned, you hear these rumblings about, these coaches coming out and saying, hey, I wouldn't mind signing Cap. I would think about it. Well, I mean, I bet they've been thinking like that for a while, right? Especially all these black head coaches. You mean to tell me none of the black head coaches thought about signing Kaepernick prior to this moment? They all mentioned that they have. What was preventing that? What was stopping that from happening, right? And now you have, Roger Goodell coming out and saying he encourages teams to sign, Colin Kaepernick. And I wonder if he's not signed by the beginning of the season, I wonder if players are kind of left with that thought of, do we need to stop and stand with Cap or stand for Cap, right? Do we need to do so? I wonder if they're faced with that moment of doubt. Right now they seem all on board with playing and there's no rumblings of them not playing. But I think it's right now because they're in a really good place and we're really far away from the beginning of the season. Well, not really, but kind of far away from the beginning of the season. As we near closer, if Cap isn't signed or at least brought in for a workout, I wonder if they feel a little bit more pressure to stand and then kind of, have their own little debate back and forth about whether they should play or not. We'll see how that goes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you want to know where you can find me, at MTMV Sports. If you're looking for the whole brand, you want to follow the movement, want to get you a nice T-shirt, feel me? You can go to at MTMV Sports. You can see us on Twitter. Go to the website at www.mtmvpn.com. You can check us out there. And if you just want to follow me, you just want to know kind of what I'm up to, at Rick Sincere. You can follow me everywhere at Rick Sincere. That's RIC, no K.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can also find me, Derrick _OTS. Mind you, I am a little vulgar on there at times, but it is what it is. I'll get to the nitty gritty. And you can also, if you want to follow the brand, is at OTS Guys.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is officially an episode of Debate Fuel, and consider your tank officially full. That being said, we are signing out.
Go fight the power.